I read a Seth Godin blog, and love Seth Godin as a writer. It's phenomenal. And I subscribed to his blog. He does these short blogs once a day. And he put out a challenge. He said, I started this blog X amount of years ago where I decided to start writing one blog a day, short, 100, 200 words, put out some thoughts on marketing, on entrepreneurship, all that stuff. And he said, he named a whole bunch of other people that have daily blogs. And he said, I challenge you as thought leaders to be able to do this, because if you can come up with a unique thought every single day for 365 days, then you genuinely belong in your lane. You genuinely belong in this. And he's like, and if you can't, then it's going to force you to start researching and learning more in your own lane, so that you're not repeating the same stuff, but you're developing new content. And I was in a bit of a tough spot with my business. I had some stuff going really well in consulting, but not stuff I wanted to continue doing. I was doing it for clients because they're bringing in money, but I wasn't sure I wanted to keep doing it. My youth speaking stuff was blowing up, so I was doing a ton more high schools and universities, but I wanted to start doing more and more corporate stuff. So I'd been doing some corporate stuff, but it was a bit organic stuff that came in. It was maybe 10-15% of my business. The other 10-15% was consulting, and then the rest was like my high schools and universities. And I was like flying across the country doing those. And so I took on the challenge. I started writing on a daily basis. And I was so uncomfortable, I wouldn't post it online. I sent it to 3 or 4 people, like 2 friends. I was like, hey, I'm going to start writing, and I'm just going to send it to you because I need a commitment. Like, I need someone that's going to, and one of my close friends, Orad, read it every single day religiously. Like, hey, and he like would comment, would reply back and be like, hey, I like this thought, or hey, your grammar is off on this, hey, your sentence structure, hey, what about this thought? And I did it for about, and then I grew the list. I added 5 more people. I had 5 more people, and I got to about 30 people, 40 people. And I remember going to the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers Conference, and it was a marketing workshop. And these are some really good speakers, some people who are in the industry, some pretty top ones. And the guy at the workshop said, how many of you put out content in the last 6? So everybody stand up, like sit down if you haven't put out new content in the last 6 months. About half the room sat down. I was up because I was like writing this daily blog. I hadn't sent it out. I did some social media stuff, but I was like, I'm gonna use that daily blog as my point of reference because I've been doing it. Half the room sat down, and it was like, whoa. They said, how many of you in the last month? Next half of the room sat down. Interesting. And he said, how many of you in the last week? And maybe 5 people in a room of like 100 were left standing, and I was one of them. And he said, how many of you while you were at the CAPS convention? Okay? And I had written a blog the night before, and I was standing up, and one other person was standing up. And he said, the speaker was like, to genuinely be ahead of this game as a speaker and as somebody who's putting themselves as thought leaders, you need to constantly create content. He said, it doesn't have to be every day. Let's congratulate these 2 that are up here. He said, but if you're not doing it on a weekly basis, you're falling behind. And I realized here was an opportunity for me to take this. I had a skill set for marketing, and I realized I had done this in all my other entrepreneurial endeavors. I was the go-to marketing guy. I was always able to get PR attention because I had these wild ideas. And even when I was president of my student union, we got attention for some ridiculous projects that people made fun of us for. I was always great at that. And I was like, okay, I'm not maximizing my biggest skill set in my own business because I am focused on trying to sell it. But instead, if I create an inbound by creating content and focusing on that, if I look around the room, like that would be my main advantage. What set me apart that day from every other speaker in the room was that I was constantly creating content. And if I just doubled down on that and took it to the next level by posting it as a blog, by putting it on social media, by creating videos, this would be huge. I've done that consistently for the last maybe 4 months. Every day, there's a blog every day, and there's 1 or 2, there's posts on all social media 1 or 2 times every day also. Obviously, some of it is automated, scheduled. We have systems. I have a part-time staff that helps me with this. We've expanded the team to make sure. But the leads that have come in are far greater than anything that I've ever sent out a sales email for. Because they've seen my stuff, they've interacted with my content, they liked my blog, they liked what I had to say. And then on the phone, they were already sold. They were already like, yeah, we want you to come in. I wasn't doing any selling. They were just trying to figure out when was the right time to make it happen. And that was a huge shift of like, okay, this is how I create a unique lane in this area. Now, obviously, as I get higher and higher in the speaking industry and the training industry, the top guys are posting and are creating content. You know, but you know, at my level where I am in my competition, this has been a huge value add and a very unique proposition that's setting me apart.
Mm-hmm.